Social anxiety isn't just normal, it's brilliant evolutionary design. Your brain developed this response over millions of years to keep you safe in groups because, for our ancestors, survival depended on being accepted by others. Consider this. Every single person you've ever met experiences social anxiety. That guy who seems effortlessly confident in meetings, he feels it. That woman who speaks flawlessly in public, she feels it too. The difference isn't in whether they experience it, but in how they interpret and respond to it. Social anxiety is your brain's way of saying, this interaction matters to me. It's not a malfunction, not a weakness, but your social survival instinct functioning exactly as intended. Before we dive deeper, here's an important reminder. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment sharing your thoughts or experiences. For a new channel like this one, every subscription and interaction makes a huge difference in helping more people discover and benefit from relevant content like this. Your support matters. When our ancestors lived in small tribes, rejection wasn't just embarrassing, it was life-threatening. Without the tribe, there was no protection, no shared resources, and no chance of survival. Your brain still carries this ancient wisdom. That flutter in your stomach before meeting new people, that's your ancestors' survival instinct, still active and protecting you. When you understand that this anxiety is normal, beneficial, and universal, it loses its power over you. Instead, it becomes your ally. The next time you feel socially anxious, remember this. That feeling means you're human. It means your brain is working perfectly. And most importantly, it means you're not alone, not even close. Chapter 1. The social muscle and micro skills. Social skills work exactly like physical muscles. The more you use them, the stronger they become. This isn't just a metaphor, it's how your brain physically works. When you practice social skills, you're creating actual neural pathways that get stronger with each interaction. Think of basic conversation like doing bicep curls. The first few times it feels awkward, uncoordinated, maybe even uncomfortable. But every single time, your brain is building new connections. Just like working out, starting small is the secret. Social skills break down into tiny, learnable movements, micro skills. Making eye contact? That's one rep. Asking a follow-up question? Another rep. Sharing a relevant story? Another rep. Each one builds your social strength. But here's what most people miss. Just like physical exercise, you need proper form and recovery time. Trying to become a social butterfly overnight is like trying to deadlift 300 pounds on day one. Your social muscles need time to grow, adapt, and strengthen. Start with 5-minute conversations. Practice one micro skill at a time. Celebrate small wins. Remember, even the most socially skilled people you know started exactly where you are. They just kept showing up to the gym of social interaction, doing their reps and building their strength. Unlike physical muscles, social skills never reach a ceiling. They can keep growing stronger your entire life, and every single interaction is a chance to grow. Chapter 2. The 70-30 Rule and Active Listening. The most powerful social skill isn't talking, it's listening. Specifically, listening for 70% of the conversation and speaking for only 30%. This isn't random. It's backed by research on the world's best conversationalists. When you let someone talk about themselves, their brain releases the same chemicals as when they eat their favorite food or receive money. You're literally giving their brain a reward by listening. But real listening isn't just staying quiet. Your brain should be fully focused on understanding their words, tone, and meaning. Not planning what to say next, not waiting for your turn, but truly absorbing their message. Watch what happens when you listen this way. People feel genuinely understood. They naturally want to know more about you. They remember conversations with you as especially meaningful, all because you gave them something incredibly rare in today's world: your complete attention. The magic happens in the details. Notice how their voice changes when they talk about certain topics. Watch their energy level rise and fall. Pick up on the small words they emphasize. These subtle cues tell you what really matters to them. Remember, every time you choose to listen more and speak less, you're building deeper connections than 90% of people ever experience. That's the true power of the 70-30 rule. Chapter 3. Curiosity as a Superpower. Curiosity is a true superpower. It's not just about asking questions, but about being genuinely interested in uncovering what makes each person unique. Think of curiosity as a muscle you can actively strengthen. Imagine each person you meet as a book with 1,000 pages. Most people only glance at the cover. However, when you're authentically curious, you begin to explore the hidden chapters filled with surprising stories, fascinating ideas, and incredible experiences. Every single person you encounter knows something you don't, and curiosity is the bridge to discovering it. The secret lies in asking questions that open new doors. Instead of the usual, "How was your day?" try something more engaging like, "What was the most interesting part of your day?" Watch how people's faces light up when they realize you truly want to hear their answer. This authentic curiosity creates a powerful cycle. The more interested you are, the more interesting things you learn. The more you learn, the more naturally curious you become. People sense this genuine interest and instinctively open up more. To you, what's even more powerful is that curiosity can dissolve social anxiety entirely. When your focus shifts from worrying about yourself to being fascinated by someone else, your brain becomes too busy exploring to feel anxious. Remember, every individual you meet is a walking library of experiences, insights, and stories. Your curiosity is the key that unlocks this wealth of knowledge, and the more you use it, the more doors you'll open. Chapter 4. The Three People Theory. Every person you meet isn't just one person, they're three. This understanding transforms how you approach every social interaction. First, there's who they think they are. Second, there's who others perceive them to be. And third, there's who they truly are. Reflect on yourself for a moment. You have a clear image of who you believe you are, your strengths, flaws, and qualities. Yet, others see a completely different version of you based on their own experiences and perspectives. Somewhere between these views lies your truest self. This concept isn't just intriguing, it's incredibly powerful. When someone appears difficult or unfriendly, consider that you might only be seeing one of their three versions. Perhaps they believe they're being cautious, while others perceive them as cold, when in reality, their true self might be shielding old wounds. Understanding these three versions helps you become more empathetic, patient, and connected. You stop taking things personally and instead become curious about which version of them you're encountering. Most importantly, this knowledge also changes how you see yourself. Those moments when you feel judged or misunderstood, that's merely the gap between your three versions. Your goal isn't to force everyone to see the same version of you. It's to accept and be comfortable with all three coexisting. Keep in mind that every person you meet is navigating their own three versions as well. This awareness alone gives you a deeper capacity for connection than most people ever achieve. Chapter 5. Question Funnel and Memory Methods. The question funnel is a powerful conversational tool that makes any interaction flow naturally. Picture it as a funnel that begins wide and gradually narrows into more specific and meaningful topics. Start with broad, easy questions and let the conversation naturally deepen into more personal and engaging territory. Here's how it works. Begin with simple, factual questions, transition to questions about opinions, and finally delve into feelings and experiences. For example, start with, "What kind of work do you do?" This can flow into, "What made you choose that field?" and eventually lead to, "What's the most challenging part of your job?" Notice how each question builds on the previous one, creating a natural rhythm and drawing out deeper connections. This approach isn't random. It's a strategic way to cultivate curiosity and encourage openness. Pair the question funnel with the memory palace technique for maximum impact. As someone answers your questions, mentally place key details in specific locations within an imaginary house. Picture their job in the living room, their passion project in the kitchen, and their biggest challenge in the garage. This method makes recalling details effortless. The next time you meet, you can walk through your mental house and easily bring up specific topics. How was that hiking trip you were planning? Or, did you finish the book you were excited about? People are consistently amazed when you remember these small but meaningful details. Questions, when used strategically, are like keys that unlock deeper levels of conversation. Combined with strong memory techniques, they help you build connections that are not only meaningful, but enduring. Chapter 6. Echo Effect and Body Language. The echo effect is one of the most powerful tools for creating social connection. It's not about simply copying someone's body language, but fostering natural harmony in conversation. Your brain is already wired for this. The key is to make these adjustments conscious and strategic. When two people connect deeply, their breathing often synchronizes, their gestures align, and their energy levels naturally match. This isn't something they actively control. It's your social brain doing what it does best. By understanding this process, you can accelerate it consciously. For example, if someone speaks softly, gently lower your voice. If they're energetic, gradually raise your energy to match. When they lean in, subtly mirror their engagement. The magic lies in being subtle. This isn't about mimicking, but about aligning. When you subtly match someone's energy and body language, their brain unconsciously registers you as safe and trustworthy. Try this with micro movements. A slight tilt of your head when they tilt theirs, a natural shift in posture when they adjust theirs, or even matching their speaking pace. Each small adjustment builds unconscious rapport. Remember, your body language already has an innate desire to synchronize with others. By letting it happen naturally and removing mental barriers, you amplify your ability to connect. This isn't manipulation. It's enhancing a natural connection process that makes interactions more meaningful and genuine. Chapter 7. Social momentum and consistency. Social momentum works just like physics. Once you're moving, it's easier to keep moving. This is why socially successful people rarely take long breaks from socializing. They maintain consistent momentum. Think of your social skills as a car engine. If you start after a long break, it feels cold, rusty, and awkward. But keep it running, and it warms up, becoming smoother and more efficient. This isn't just a metaphor. It's how your brain actually functions. Small, consistent social interactions create more momentum than sporadic, larger ones. A 5-minute conversation every day builds more skill than a 5-hour party once a month. Your brain thrives on regular, consistent practice. The secret to maintaining social momentum is starting small. A simple hello to a neighbor, brief chats with store clerks, or quick conversations with coworkers all contribute to your social fitness. Each interaction is like pushing a boulder. The first push is the hardest, but it gets easier with time. Look for natural daily momentum builders like coffee shops, regular store visits, or gym sessions where low-pressure interactions occur organically. Social momentum isn't about being socially active all the time. It's about steady, consistent engagement. Like compound interest, small daily investments in social interaction create massive long-term results. Chapter 8. Conversational threading and open loops. Conversational threading is the art of making any interaction flow effortlessly. Every sentence someone speaks contains multiple conversational threads that can lead to new and interesting directions. Your job is to notice these threads and use them to guide the conversation. For example, if someone says, "I just got back from a business trip to Japan," you have several threads to explore. The business itself, their travel experiences, Japan as a destination, or the timing implied by "just got back." Each thread is a doorway to deeper, more engaging conversation. The real magic happens when you combine threads with open loops. An open loop is an unfinished story or idea that keeps someone's attention. Our brains naturally crave closure, which is why cliffhangers in TV shows are so effective. In conversation, you can mention something intriguing about yourself without fully explaining it, creating curiosity. Then, explore other threads before returning to close the loop. Weaving multiple threads and open loops together creates dynamic and engaging conversations. Start a story, shift to a related topic, open another loop, and then return to complete the initial story. This technique keeps conversations lively and builds a natural flow that feels effortless. Chapter 9. Context banking and permission structures. Context banking is a secret weapon for building deep connections. It involves storing important details from conversations to create natural opportunities for follow-up later. Here's how it works. During conversations, your brain picks up key information: future plans, current challenges, important dates. Most people let these details slip away, but you can bank them for later use. The power of context banking lies in combining it with permission structures. A permission structure is a natural reason to reconnect. For example, if someone mentions an upcoming job interview, that's a permission structure to check in afterward. If they talk about a problem they're solving, it gives you a reason to follow up. Think of every conversation as leaving breadcrumbs for future connections. A comment like, "Good luck with that presentation next week," can become, "How did that presentation go?" Or, "Hope you enjoy that new restaurant," can lead to, "What did you think of the place?" Timing is crucial. Following up too soon might feel pushy, while waiting too long can seem forgetful. The sweet spot shows that you care enough to remember and respect their timeline. To make this process seamless, write down key details after important conversations and set reminders for follow-ups. People rarely forget how you made them feel when you remembered what mattered to them. Context banking turns single conversations into long-lasting connections and builds relationships that stand the test of time. Guys, to avoid making this video too long and heavy, let's stop at this topic. Next week, I will release part 2 of this content. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it, and comment below your main difficulties when it comes to socializing.